What's going on YouTube? Excellence here, bringing you guys another video back up here onto the channel. This time what I got for you guys is a video on how you guys can drop a tactical nuke here in Modern Warfare. This is going to be a tip video where I give you guys some tips and then analyze one of my old gameplays. It was actually my very first tactical nuke that we're going to analyze here on the channel today. Try and give you guys a picture into my mind what was going through my head at different times during the situations that I was getting into, so that you guys can try and mirror those same actions or those same thoughts to try and get your nuke if you haven't already got one. I actually ran a community poll on my channel here, and I think it was like 92% of people wanted to see this, and it got a fair amount of votes. And here I am bringing you guys this video. So that being said, if you guys do enjoy this video and this type of content in general, make sure you guys tap that like button and also subscribe to the channel if you guys are brand new, with those bell notifications turned on so you don't miss any uploads. I think it's like 93 or 94% of people that watch the videos aren't even subscribed. So if you guys are brand new and you guys do want to help me out hit my goal of 10,000 subscribers, that would honestly mean the world. Oh, and by the way, there's gonna be timestamps for everything that I talk about in this video in the description below and in the pinned comment. So if you guys are curious about just a certain part of this video and you guys want to come back to it maybe one or two more times, you can just skip right to the spot you want to click back to right in the comments or the pinned comment below. This is going to be almost a full guide on how you guys can drop your nukes, so I'm going to include some tips and even some class setups in here if you guys want to stick around and watch the whole video. Anyways, we're going to hop right into it here. I'm going to show you guys some class setups that you guys should probably use just to try and get your first one at least. Alright, so if you guys are curious about a class setup that you guys can use to try and drop your first nuke, I'm going to cover the M4 here. I was using it in the gameplay that I'm going to show you guys, but this is a super old gameplay. It actually was like November 16th, I think it was my very first nuke, and that's of last year when the game was like relatively new. And keep in mind, this was like the pre-patch M4, like it was never touched at that point, I don't think. The attachments that I had on it back then aren't going to be the ones that I'm going to recommend you right here. So a good M4 class that I'm pretty sure that like a lot of people know about, but at the same time it's been tampered with just a little bit. I'm just going to show you guys this class setup. If you guys are going for your very first nuke, I recommend you guys use this one. It's got the monolithic suppressor, the Corvus custom marksman barrel, commando foregrip, 50 round mags, and the stippled grip tape. Secondary weapon, you guys can just use anything of your preference. I'm just using the guard one Renetti here. And then my perks, you can either use these ones here on screen, but if you're going for your first one, you might just want to use like EOD, Ghost, and then tune up, just so you can refill your ammo box if you're not running scavenger. And then of course lethal, you can either use C4, or if you're going for your first nuke, use claymores. And then if you're going to use your tacticals, you gotta have stim shot on there. It's definitely the best tactical in the game. Anyways, before we hop into the gameplay here, I'm going to recommend you guys this one huge tip, and I'm going to recommend you guys play ground war for your first nuke. And I'm saying this just because there are certain spots and certain maps on these ground war maps that are just super spawn heavy, and you'll just be able to pick people off, like shooting them in the back or shooting them in the side just right off spawn when they're not even ready to get in a gunfight. And that could be the deciding factor whether if it's going to get your orbital VSAT or your advanced UAV in this game, or if it's going to get you your nuke. So I'm just giving you guys that tip because this is my very first nuke was in ground war, and you guys are going to see that. Another thing that I want to talk about is the score streak selection that you guys should be using for these nuke streaks that you're going to go on. So my personal favorite is the non-lethal score streaks, or the kill streaks I should say, sorry. It's the personal radar, the UAV, and then of course the advanced UAV, the most important one. Now you guys will see me use these a lot in my videos, but you can also like change the radar out for like a VTOL jet or a support helo if you really wanted to. It's really whatever you feel comfortable on. Maybe like if you're more experienced in the game, you're a little better than other players, and try and run the support helo or the VTOL ship. It basically just distracts players and you're able to like get a few kills while they're shooting it down. And using like the radar and the UAV and the advanced UAV, you're just able to space out your kill streaks a little better to like go on those longer streaks. So totally up to you guys. I like using the non-lethal and the one lethal, but like I said, it's really just personality and like preference of the player itself. Anyways, guys, I'm going to hop right into the gameplay here. I don't want to waste any more time. Alright, here we are. So we're actually joining in late back here when I searched for this match. Again, like I said, this is in ground war, and I was playing solo. Back in the day when this game first came out, I didn't have really any like friends to play with on this game, just because a lot of my older friends that I used to play Call of Duty with and that I play with now, they were still like playing other games like Fortnite and stuff like that. So I was kind of just on my solo dolo stuff back in the day, but you can't really do anything about that. I was still able to pull out the nuke here. Alright, and I'm sorry if the quality is just a little worse than my normal videos. This is like off the PS4 capture, and then I recorded it with my Elgato, so it's been through two different capture cards at that point, and then YouTube's probably going to kill the quality. So I'm going to bump up the quality crazy when I render it, just so to kind of spare some visual aspects at least on this game. But this old M4, man, it used to be so dominant back in the day before they actually patched it. I mean, it's still really good now, but it used to be even better. Now you'll see that I just placed a little claymore there, and that's going to be a kind of recurring pattern throughout this entire video. I'm basically just holding down power positions through the entire gameplay to try and just pick off easy kills. Claymores are kind of on the doors and on like certain entrances that a lot of people were pushing. You guys got to remember, this is from like season 1 of the game, and a lot of people were using just like weird stuff. I think I was even using the overkill 725 in this gameplay. I can't even really remember. I know I had a class because I've been over this gameplay at least once in the past couple of days, but that used to be the meta class, man. Everyone used to use the 725 and the M4 Ghost and Overkill because the perks were in different categories back then, and it was just super toxic, man. The gameplay was just brutal in 6v6 and ground war and all that. But even right here, you guys can see I'm just patrolling this one area of the map, trying to hold down, pick them off spawn here. I know this was a huge spawn that used to be in this room like crazy, and then I end up getting taken out by this kid sitting in the corner here. And this was a huge thing back in ground war when Ghost was in a different perk category than Overkill. People just used to run Ghost and Overkill like I am in this video right now. Everyone was just running it, so it was so like overpowered because you could just sit in those corners, and in this game if you don't move, the Ghost still works. So I think this is actually the start of the nuke streak here. I ended up picking off these 2 kills here, and I'm right now, my team doesn't really have a lot of flags. I'm pretty sure we only have this C flag, so that's going to be our main spawn. But what I'm going to recommend you guys is try and get them on Karst River Quarry at least. The D and the E flag is where you want them to be. I think Ania Palace is also a really good one if they have the E flag on ground war, just because the spawns are so crazy. I know the D building here is where I would just get a ton of my kills and just start off my streak. You guys are gonna see me pop off here throughout this video. I'm just picking off kids where I'm able to run off spawn, you know, stuff like that. It's just really good to hold down those power positions. Not so much camp, but in a way you kind of are camping, especially with like the claymore setups and everything like that. But basically what I'm saying is just use your power positions to your advantage. You don't want to run out in the open here when you guys know that there's people spawning to your left and there's going to be people up on the mountain and there's people in the building in front of you. Just stuff like that, right? And look, at this class setup that I was running is absolutely terrible. Like, I think I'm running mono suppressor, the marksman barrel, and then I think I see that I have the reflex sight on there. 50 round mags also, so I probably had stippled on there too, but I wasn't even running a foregrip. I don't know why not. I think I watched one of Korean's videos and picked this class setup from him, and he wasn't running a foregrip, so I said, you know what, let me just try it out. And surprisingly enough, I actually dropped a nuke here. As you guys can see here, they just spawned a lot of them just spawned around D here, and I'm close to my advanced UAV. And that's the one key that you guys need to be doing. You guys need to be using certain streaks that will be able to like train off each other, you know. So you guys will see me run personal radar, UAV, and counter UAV, and the advanced UAV, sorry, a lot in these videos. In my other gameplays, and I don't think I'm running it here just because I didn't really know that meta back in the day. But VTOL is also good if you want to just be able to distract people, like distract enemies, get a couple free kills. But I like to run the personal radar UAV and then the advanced UAV, kind of just be able to spread them out, just so I'm able to know where a lot of people are at once. Now I actually kind of like premature pop my advanced UAV here. I'd recommend at least save it to around 15 to 17 kills, maybe even that 20 mark if you can get there, just because it does run out, and after you are, since the streaks don't loop in this game, sorry, you aren't able to get another one in that same life. So save your advanced UAV for as long as possible. Obviously, if you're in a tricky situation, just pop it and just be able to pick those kills off, because it is better than it's better to stay alive than to just die on a streak. And that's what I'm talking about. See, the VSAT's kind of wearing out. The spawns had flipped, which is like obviously something that you really can't account for, especially when you're playing solo when you have 63 other teammates. So in my mind, I'm just trying to get out of that little spawn area that they were in just as fast as possible, just in case they do flip back there, that I'm not going to get just swarmed by like 10 guys spawning on one spot. And now I do see they are camping up in this building. I noticed that on my advanced UAV, but I just backed off and kind of re-engaged in a different position because I wasn't really at the best position that I could have been in that certain situation. So, all right, now you guys are going to see me push up here. I think we have all the flags on the map. I'm not too sure. Actually, I just heard in my headset that they capped the B flag. So they're going to be spawning at B, and they're going to be spawning in their headquarters here, their home base. And I basically push the spawners because I'm assuming my teammates are going to go heavy and cap B. I'm noticing that they have A capped also, but I'm just picking off those stragglers back in the dropping the little spawn here just to be able to add to my streak, to pad my stats, you know, get closer to that final kill that I need for my nuke. Especially when you're going for your first one. I remember when I got my first nuke, I was like super like scared. I was playing nervous. You guys are probably even notice it. My game sense and my game knowledge and all that stuff, the way I play it in this video is much different than what I play now, right? So when you guys see my nuke videos now, you guys know that I'm just like basically challenging every single gunfight. I was almost trying to avoid a lot of the gunfights where I could like die from. Basically, I know the tanks are just something that killed me off a ton of streaks before I got my first one. But you'll see me just patrol kind of like one spot of the map, hold down a certain area, trying to pick off as many people as I can that like don't even realize that I'm there, right? Which is why Ghost can be super beneficial. Stay off all the UAVs, and especially with the suppressors and stuff like that with the UAVs and how they all work in this game. But you'll just notice me just picking kids off as they walk out of their spawn or their headquarters, whatever you want to call it in this little game out here. And now I just heard that they're capping C, so in my mind, you know that there's at least 1 or 2 guys there, and they've capped it relatively quick. So I actually come up to this window, and I'm able to pick off I think 1 or 2 kids sitting up here. I'm on a 20 now, and this is where I would recommend you guys save your advanced still if you can. As you can tell, there's no UAVs, there's no radars, there's no nothing for me to be able to go off of. It's just kind of like picking them slowly but surely. But I'm able to grab this kid out of the helicopter here, luckily. I'm also hearing people snipe, and right now is where I'm starting to get really nervous in my streak, right? I wasn't experienced getting nukes. I've seen other people do it, and I've tried to replicate their actions and my gameplay, but I wasn't able to be successful so far until this game, of course. And I picked this video for a reason. I picked this gameplay for a reason, sorry, to speak about this topic, seeing how I'm going to be making a video on like how you guys can get your first nuke. And I thought, what better clip that I can show than my own first nuke, right? To talk over that, give you kind of tips what was going through my mind and stuff like that. My teammates luckily got UAVs here, so I'm able to kind of see a couple people around me on the mini-map here, providing there could be more using Ghost, but I was just so focused on these kids back in the spawn here. And another thing that I just noticed here, the tank just spawned in. You're going to have to be careful about that on this map or in ground war in general. Tanks can just like end your streak super quick. And I remember, I think my highest streak before I got my first nuke was like 26, I think it was, before I got killed like by a tank on my streak, and I was just so like devastated back. This is before I even did YouTube, like before I was even uploading or anything like that too. So this is a very, very long time ago. But I've noticed that my teammates are kind of pushed back. We have every other flag on the map captured except for E. So I know that they're going to be spawning E or in their headquarters. It's the only thing that they have the option to. But a lot of them are going to primarily be spawning on E. So I'm just kind of looking out for those spawns and just picking off the last kid. So you see I'm on a 29 here, and I remember I was so nervous to try and drop my nuke, but when I actually did, I think I had a little reaction here. Yeah, you guys can hear me. I was just happy about dropping nuke. I was, let's go, I dropped the nuke, let's go. I don't think I went on a very long streak at all. It's kind of just funny to like watch these videos back or to watch these clips back to see how much you've improved over time. I forgot I even had this, but when I finally did remember, I thought this would just be the perfect gameplay for this video in general, man. Ended up getting taken out here, but there's really nothing I could have done there. Yeah, I think I'm able to call it in here. I remember the game did go DEFCON, so I think I called my nuke in because I realized it was going DEFCON. But yeah, man, I hope this video does help you guys try and get that first nuke. Basically what this video is like, it's showing you guys like you're not perfect. Obviously I was terrible back in these videos, but over time, the more you play, the more you get better at the game. Pick up a few tips, pick up some pointers from just by the way that people play. You should be able to just succeed and be able to drop your first nuke. But yeah, guys, if you guys stayed to the end of this video, you guys are true champs. Hope you guys did enjoy it, of course. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. It's been excellence. Peace out.